Hello and welcome back to part 5 of the Corvette restoration video diary series thing. Got some good work done in part 4. Got my rear view mirror all figured out and how the lights are supposed to work. I also found that one of the wires on it was all jacked up, and that's what was shorting out my taillights. Cleaned up all the wires underneath both sides of my footwell. Started installing my $20 radio, and I removed my passenger side headlight and was able to clean and rebuild that motor. Okay, so a lot of the electrical stuff is cleaned up, feeling better about it. Next big electrical problem is the dash cluster. So right now, driving around during the day, I can actually see my instruments. They work. They're not perfect, like I have a little bit of a missing readout on my speedometer, but everything else seems to work. However, at night, when I turn on the headlights, my dash goes completely black. And if I take my phone, turn my flashlight on my phone and point it at the dash where that little photo cell is, it will turn back on. So it needs the sun for it to work. It does not work at night at all. So that's either something with the headlight switch talking to the dash not working properly, and that could be the switch, or a wiring issue, or there's something wrong inside of my actual instrument cluster. So let's do some troubleshooting and see what I can figure out what the problem isn't, because I don't know if I can figure out what it is. So the first easy thing to check is the bulbs, right? So I got some bulbs. These are the original replacement bulbs. You have to take your bezel cover off. To get the bezel cover off, the first thing you do is remove the knob on the headlight switch. So I tried to get mine off. There's a little special way to disengage it. I have some other videos posted on how to get the dash cover off, but I couldn't get mine off. So it was actually stuck on there so hard that I took some pliers and actually crushed them. So I crushed the knob to get it off, and I was left with a little stick in the middle. Normally that rod will pull completely out of the inside of your switch on most GM vehicles. This one's opposite. I've never seen one like this. So once I got the dash knob off, then you have to take the dash cover off. Another super simple thing to do on this car. There's just like 4 or 5 screws along the front to get it off, and then the thing just pulls straight forward. And like I said, I have a video of how to do that posted as well, and I'll put a link, I guess, here. So mine only had 1 screw holding it in. There's supposed to be more. The rest were missing. Got the cover off. So then I tested the wiring. So I wanted to make sure that the wiring from the switch going to the dash was correct as well. So I had to break out the wiring schematic and follow those traces and just make sure that they had 0 resistance on them, and it did. So that means it's not the switch, even though I ordered a new switch anyways, because the one I had was broken for some reason. There was still something not quite right on it. So I did order another switch because, might as well, and replace the light bulbs. So I got new light bulbs. These are real light bulbs. They're actually pretty easy to replace. You can do it from the front. You don't have to remove the whole cluster to do these. I believe if you do the LEDs, you have to, because you need to change the back part of the light bulb as well. This, I'm just changing the actual bulb, not the bulb socket. There's a little socket that you can replace too from the back. So these, I just really tiny, and they got 2 little forks on them, and you just stab them in there, and that's how I replaced them. And then it makes perfect sense. It can't be a light bulb problem, because if it was a light bulb problem, I wouldn't be able to see my lights during the day either. So they need to be illuminated during the day. It needs backlight for the day and for the night for this thing to work properly. So it's probably not a light bulb issue if you could see your lights during the day. So I did all those diagnostics. I checked the wires, checked the light bulbs, checked the switch. It's none of that stuff. So I'm going to have to give up and send it off to repair. Of course, I'm going to send it to the guy that does all this stuff. I really don't know how to say his name out loud, though. It's Batee, B-A-T-E-E, Batee. I guess that's what it is, Batee. But he is the dude when it comes to getting these things rebuilt. So I didn't have any problem with sending off to him. So dash cluster is sent off for repair, and hopefully he can fix it. All right, I've got my replacement HVAC control module in. It came in the mail. I think I paid $185 for this thing, used. Plugged it in and got the new heater installed. Actually, the old heater installed, and it works. Yay! Everything works the way it's supposed to. Check it out. Look at that, showing the inside temperature selection. Even shows the outside temperature, so that means the gauge or the thermistor, wherever the heck that is, it works. I cycled through all these, and vents moved, and air came out, and the heater works. The only thing that's not working for sure that I know of is the AC. Yay, it works! I also replaced the kick down panel. There's a little piece of plastic by your foot that kind of pushes the carpet out of the way. Mine's broken and it doesn't fit very well down there, so I bought a new one of those. This is another cheap thing. I don't know, it was $10, $15 to replace this. So now there's more room for my foot now. Well, it's actually pretty late in the year. Here it is, the end of March, and it snowed. So yay, I get to drive my car in the snow. Okay, I'm almost home now. First time driving in a snowstorm. This is not fun at all. Actually, you know what? The car drives really, really well, honestly, in the snow. I have a lot of grip, way more than I expected. Actually, the nice thing about this is I found out some new places that I got to buy some more rubber for. So it's leaking like crazy down here on this side by the footwell and this side by the footwell. So I need more weather stripping along the whole A-pillar. Get that fixed. I'm really curious about what the engine bay looks like, because those tubs that go around the wheels, they're not sealed properly, so I don't know what's going on in there. I gotta clean that out. But the car, honestly, it handles really, really well in the snow. I'm shocked. Now I'm home, and I don't want to do that anytime soon again. And that's not intentional. It's just a normal Sunday. I was doing my Sunday stuff, and it ended up snowing on me while I was out. So I've been cleaning up all the wiring underneath the dash, and that's in preparation because I'm going to put in replacement footwell covers as well. So there's the little covers that cover all the wiring. Mine are missing and broken, of course. So I had to buy a complete replacement for the passenger side. That came in. Cleaned it up. Didn't paint it or anything yet. I will at a later time. I just want to get this thing put together. One of the things that it's missing is it didn't come with a little heat shield for the light, because incandescent light bulbs get hot and heat rises. So above it, there's a little metal shield that keeps the heat from penetrating into your dash and, you know, causing havoc. That was missing. So I used the next best thing, tin foil. Don't laugh. It worked fine. I just need a little bit of shielding to disperse this heat and spread it out. So I went ahead and installed it, and now the mess that was on my passenger side is now all cleaned up. Just the footwell part. Got the car washed and all cleaned up, because you know it snowed a few days ago, so I might as well clean the car now and wash it, because hopefully it won't snow again. One of the other things I need to work on is my target top bolt mount things. So I didn't have any target top hardware that was correct for the car, so of course I had to buy all new bolts and everything for it, and they're pretty cheap. They're not expensive at all, but they keep falling out because the one side has the proper little plastic thing that holds the nut in there. The other side's missing. So at the same time, when I got my rear view mirror replaced, I also asked the junkyard guy down in Texas about these little plastic things, and he said he knew exactly what I was talking about, and he was going to send me one of them too. Okay, so one of the last things on the list that I need to do for my center console before I button that up is my radio. So now I have the HVAC unit replaced. Next I want to get the radio replaced. The radio that came with it does work, but it's, whatever. I don't care for it. I'd want something with Bluetooth. So you can actually buy Bluetooth decks for $20, and that's exactly what I did. I got the cheapest one I could possibly find on eBay, because I just need something with 4 speakers that has Bluetooth, and that's it, just to get the car up and going with the radio. So once again, because I had a Bose system, I have to do a bunch of wiring to this to make it work properly. I'm also not going to use the speakers in the doors. Instead, I'm going to use the standard speakers, which are on the top of the dash. But the dash pad that I have has those speaker holes blocked off. It has a little fabric on top of it, but the holes are physically blocked, so there's no way sound can go through it. I can buy replacements for these, but I also need to replace my dash cover anyways. So because this was a Bose car and there were speakers in the door, so I'm actually going to order a dash pad that has the speaker holes already there, so I can use them, speaker grill holes. So I'm going to have to get a completely different dash pad anyways, so I might as well just get that. And of course, this is used. New is, expensive. So is used, by the way. So I went ahead and got a dash cover out of a 1984. Now I need to mount the radio. So the radio in it before was just literally in the hole with the bezel on it, and that was it. So I went to Walmart and got one of them $15 brackets, adapter kit things that you can mount into any car. It's universal for certain kinds of cars. And lo and behold, if you look at the back of it, it actually does say it will work on a first-gen C4. There's instructions in here how to do that. I didn't read any of those things. I just got a bunch of pieces of plastic and cut them and fabricated it and bolted it together. Made a little square that will mount to the inside of my center console skeleton thing, and that was good enough. And I did use a wiring adapter, so I still have the original plugs for my radio because I want to go back and either put in a Bose system or in a stock looking system. So there are little adapter kits where you can plug onto those, which you can see in this picture here. So you don't have to splice into all your wires. You can still get these things. So now I have to wire the speakers that are going to go on the dash. So I have those wired. I'm just going to set them on the top of the dash just to see if the thing works. So I ran new wires for the speakers. My $20 radio is installed, and the center bezel is just sitting on there. It's not screwed back in there yet. I just wanted to see what it was going to look like in a picture. Hey, good news. I heard from Batee, the instrument cluster guy. I heard from him on this day. So the Speedo LCD is cracked, and that's why part of it won't light up. A connection was melted on the motherboard part of it somewhere, and the photocell was also bad. That's the thing that turns it on and off at night, and that's why I'm having that major issue. So for him, these are easy fixes, and it's going to cost me $350 plus shipping to get this stuff repaired. Prices are going to vary on these depending on what you need to replace on yours. So I only had one panel replaced. So my new mirror came in, and I tested it, and every light seems to work. Yay! So I got the mirror installed, and now I'm going to start putting my target top hardware back together. The brackets on the front of the windshield. Installed that little plastic cover thing back on there. It's not exactly the right size. Of course, it's not the right year. I don't know what he sent me, but it will work. It just makes the screw stand up a little bit taller inside that mounting hardware, but that's perfectly fine. Batee, he's on it. He sent me some more emails today about the cluster is now done and it's fully tested. So he sent a bunch more pictures of this thing up and running and fully working. He even changed out the other light bulbs. I had the standard light bulbs in there. He put in Xeon light bulbs. Those are actually going to run a little bit cooler, be a little bit brighter as well. And they're not LED. I don't want to put LED in the car. No LED for me. I want all incandescent bulbs because I don't want to have to deal with any issues. I like the color of the light better, and I want all the dimming to work properly. So that seems like a good place to stop right there. Join us in part 6, where we get to do this stuff. Get the bread box or dash pad or crash pad, whatever you want to call that. Get that thing removed and replaced with something much more aesthetically pleasing. My Digi dash comes in and I get that reinstalled. And I finish up installing the radio and get my whole dash all buttoned back up. Well, thanks for hanging out once again. If you haven't had a chance to do so, make sure you go ahead and smash that subscribe button. And in the meantime, happy C4ing.